Hey folks, Andrew here, Top Fitness Strategies. Welcome. Hey, I am the face that runs the place. And what Top Fitness Strategies is all about is helping the people understand how to live a fit and healthy lifestyle by doing common sense, easy stuff that is not complicated. And so we do this by a series of videos, podcasts, and guests. And tonight we're going to have a special guest coming up in just a second. But before we get going, I do want to tell you about the sponsor we have tonight. We always have sponsors for a show. Why? Because it's my show, and the sponsor is something that I did a few years ago with a good friend of mine. It's called the Booty Call. And what the Booty Call is all about is a way to help tighten or shrink the backside area along with your front side area. We call it the Booty Call 2.0 Butts and Guts. And it's a friend of mine, Coach Red, that we did a call several years ago on it. And she talked about the female aspect things. I talked about the male aspect of things. It was pretty good. So check out the links below, and I'll post those all as we go along here in any second. So, all right. So my guest this evening is, let me get to the bio here. All right. Is Vickie Griffith. Vickie Griffith. Sorry about that, Vickie. Vickie Griffith. And she's from the Sunshine State of Florida, where 65 degrees is cold. Vickie lives with her husband and their rescue dog, Kim. And let me get here. She is also the author of Stuck Up, A Breakthrough Path to Unstuck. And you can be right about everything and still have nothing. And she's a certified hypnotist. And now what you can add to your resume is you being a guest on Top Fitness Strategies, and Top Fitness Strategies presents Welcome, Vickie.
Well, thank you. And yes, I think that's really exciting. I can add that to my resume as well. And I appreciate the invitation. Thank you.
You say that now. Well, wait till you're done with the interview. You might not want to when you're done.
I had
Now,
a little idea when you're talking about butts and guts. I mean, that's awesome.
it was a fun call we did a long time ago, and I can go on and on about that because me and Coach Red, we've been friends for years, but we'll talk about that another time. What we're going to talk about tonight, though, is Crush Your Cravings in 30 seconds. Now, Vickie, in case you didn't know this, I like to inform all my guests that are watching this live and or listening to the podcast later on how you and I became acquaintances. Now, we are both part of it's called a JV directory, where people join venture and partner up and do different things together. And I got and I maybe sent you a message a long time ago when I first got in there because I sent a lot of them out, or maybe you just sent one to me recently. But however it was, you and I got in touch that way. And yeah, I checked out her credentials and I said, you know what? I need to have her on my show. This is going to be fun. And all the good stuff. And I listened to other podcasts and watch different interviews with you. And we're going to have a good time with this. And so, all right. So I know I'm talking a lot because this is my show. So I talk a lot at the beginning, but then I leave it over to you. So,
You
Vickie,
can do that.
tell us about you and where you came from and fill in the blanks of everything I just left off.
Well, I have my dog in the office with me today, and so she's being kind of a pain here, but she'll settle down eventually. The rescue dog I was talking about, she was actually a rescued service dog. We trained her for a veteran, and she went to that veteran, and in our contract it said that she had to be returned if they could no longer take care of her. So now she's here with us, and she's just a pet, and as you can tell, she gets her way. So, so that's kind of how that goes. So my company's name is Breakthrough, and here's why I do this, because I was always fat. I was fat when I was born. I was fat as a toddler. I was fat as a child. I was fat as a teenager. You got it. I was fat all the way up until my adult life. And I consider myself a professional dieter because I've been on all of them. I've been on a professional dieter. Yep. So I've been on all of them. I've been on all the big box stuff. I've been on the really crazy stuff like cabbage soup diet and cayenne pepper diet and cottage cheese and ketchup diet. And they would work for a little while.
Wait.
I know.
Did you say cottage cheese and ketchup?
Yep, I did.
I gotta come back to that one. Go ahead. Okay, I just want to make sure I heard that right.
Well, it shows you how desperate people are, and I did that when I was a teenager. So it just shows you how desperate people are to lose weight. And to get rid of that feeling, and in part of your website, it talks about confidence as one of your 3 pillars, and that feeling of lack of confidence and how you are really feeling not only unhealthy physically, but unhealthy in your mind and your mindset and your self-image. And so you're desperate to try anything and you just hope that it works. And it does for a little while, but then all the cravings come back. All of the self-doubt comes back. All of the mindset that keeps you there keeps coming back and it kept me fat. And I was so struggling that one day I finally decided that diet wasn't the answer for me. And I finally decided I was going to stop dieting. So that was the first thing I did. I decided right then and there, I've had enough. I've had enough of everything that I've gone through. I'm going to stop dieting. However, I still had the desire to let go of the weight.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Say that again. Yeah. You decided to stop dieting, but you still had a desire to let go of the weight. Okay. All right.
So I still wanted to be thinner. I still wanted to be healthier. But I figured there had to be a different way. And I was eating fast food every single day. And it nurtured me in some bizarre way. So I'm like, well, I don't want to give that up. So how do I do the second part of that? How do I let go of weight? I don't like to use lose weight because the subconscious mind freaks out. It goes, ah, just like you lose your cell phone. The subconscious mind goes, ah, if you say lose weight. So never say lose weight because the mind will try to find it for you. And that's one reason why diets fail. So I knew that as well. But what I also knew is that there's some math behind it and as well as nutrition behind letting go of weight. And that was to cut my portions. So I started eating Junior Cheeseburger Deluxe instead of the singles. And I started eating Junior Whoppers or kids meals or that kind of thing. So I still had the same texture. I still had the same satisfaction. I still felt like I was being nurtured. So I cut my calories basically in half. I decided that as the second step decided I needed to stop the criticism and judgment because I knew that that was also a way that was sabotaging me staying on any program. And so I started a mental diet and I stopped the criticism and I stopped the judgment. The third thing I did is I stopped weighing myself every day because here's how the experience for me goes when I weigh myself every day. Hop on the scale. And, in the morning, like everyone tells you, after you've pooped and all that stuff, right? That's what they tell you how to do that.
Yeah.
I'd hop on the scale and it would be down a couple of pounds. I'm like, yay, donuts. And it would be up a couple of pounds. I go, yay, donuts. So it was the same response. And I knew that had to stop. So I had to get away from that, which also was a lot of criticism. That started the criticism and the judgment and the whole rigmarole went on. So those are the 3 things that I did.
Okay.
That was the start of releasing the 70 pounds that I've kept off now for 20 years.
Oh, wow. So I'm going to assume, and you talked about fast food, so let's just bring this up because I have my philosophy, my common sense type philosophy that I use with my program. Any kind of fast food is bad for you. Any kind of fast food is bad because I know if some fast foods have the healthy quote unquote diets to them. I mean, healthy foods to them. I get that. But in reality, people don't go to a fast food to get the healthy food. They go, like you said, for the burgers, for the pizza, for the tacos and stuff of that sort, which isn't the best for you nutrition wise. So I'm going to assume, and I'm going on a limb here now, and if I'm totally wrong, you can slap me across the head. That's fine. You don't eat much fast food anymore?
No.
Okay. So what got you over the hump to quit eating the fast food?
Well, there was a 4th part to this. Okay. And the 4th part was I knew I needed to change my subconscious mind around food, what I felt about food, the emotional eating and the binge eating that I was doing. And I knew it started up here. It started in my mind. It started in my heart. And that's why I did a recording for myself. It's called Overeating. It's on my website. I made this recording for myself And in the recording, it talked about wanting to choose healthier foods. It talked about feeling completely satisfied with smaller amounts of unhealthy foods. Those are just a few of the suggestions. But here's what happened from that recording. So one day I walked into Wendy's. It feels like this was yesterday because it just was so crazy and surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
I walked into this Wendy's intending to order my junior cheeseburger deluxe and small fry. And when the cashier asked me what I wanted, I said, I'll have the grilled chicken salad. And I looked behind me because I thought the person behind me had just ordered. That
Oh, my
was
word.
not what I had intended to order. Now, here's what's so fascinating about that is as she's ringing it up and we're doing the money exchange and all that, I realized that that's really what I wanted. And for the first time ever, I sat down and I actually enjoyed the salad because I didn't have to eat it because it was on the diet. I should eat it because it's on the diet. All of the things we tell ourselves around healthy food, it wasn't
Mhm.
there anymore. I really wanted something healthy for my body. And that's when things started changing. And I'm not going to say it changed overnight. It changed a little at a time. So I'd let go of 20 pounds. And then I'd make some additional changes, another 20 and additional changes. Pretty soon I was finding I was really more satisfied with and actually looked for the healthier versions. I brought them in my house. I took foods out of my house, wouldn't even bring them in that were sugar filled or fat filled. All of those carbohydrates that we talked about, you probably talked about in your show many times over that are not good for you, really.
Right.
And little by little, my taste changed and my attitude changed. And here's what was so interesting about all of that too, is none of it took willpower. None of
It
it.
did.
No,
Wait. Say it again. It did not take willpower?
none of it took willpower.
Okay. All right. Now you open up a whole new can of worms on this one. So, all right, for everyone just tuning in, coming in, hey, I'm talking with Vickie Griffiths, tongue tied, Vickie Griffith, Crush Your Cravings in 30 Seconds. And she's the author of several books. We're talking about crushing your cravings. Right now, we talked about her weight loss journey and where she's at now. So, all right. So you just said, what did we?
I said it never took willpower.
That's right. Willpower. You never took willpower to change your diet completely from lack of a better term for Reader's Digest version here. So what do you attribute it to? What triggered you? What went off and say, no willpower, I can do this, no problem. So what triggered that? Am I saying that right or asking that?
You are asking that right. So what happened was that I kept changing my mindset, my subconscious mind, like I said, around food. So what's unhealthy, what's healthy. I changed the ideas around taste. So I started preferring the taste of healthier foods, the texture of healthier foods. And I talked about how in these recordings, I talk about how food satisfies me in a different way. Like, remember what I told you that the fast food nurtured me when I first got started?
Right.
Well, now healthy foods nurture me. Now I still need to be satisfied by my food. So I'm still finding ways how to cook with substitutions to make things lower in carbs and lower in calories, lower in fat. However, my clients choose whatever food program they want to go on. I don't have a signature food program because I'm always tweaking something here or tweaking something there to see what that's going to do with weight and maintaining it. But it was no willpower at all. And if I did have a craving, and if I decided, because I think there's a decision point, and I'm sure you talked to your clients about this too. There's a decision point. There is a moment that you make a decision whether you eat that chocolate cookie or you don't. And usually that, for me, that don't meant now my willpower has to kick in. Right now I have to keep convincing myself that I'm okay. Now I have to avoid it or distract myself or go find something else to do. I go for a walk, which truthfully, I never went for a walk if I had a craving. That was like totally off the list. But you make a decision and then you follow through. In the past, it would have been all, if I decided not to follow through with that chocolate cookie, it would have all been willpower.
Okay.
So now the decision is, okay, do I eat that? And if I do, yummy, let me enjoy it without the
Hmm.
criticism, without the judgment, without the remorse, without the regret. Enjoy it, for crying out loud. Food was put on this earth by God to be enjoyed, even the bad stuff, because but you don't eat it every day. So
Right.
enjoy it and take away the guilt and the shame that dieters feel constantly about what they're eating or not eating. If you decide you don't want to, then I found this amazing technique. It's called EFT, which
Okay.
also stands for electronic funds transfers. I'm okay with those too.
So just to make sure everybody understood that, said we said EFT, and
Yes.
it does not stand for electronic funds transfer. So what
It
does it stand
could.
for? It could, but when it comes to diet and nutrition, it stands for what?
Well, it actually does more than that. But because
Okay.
this is my specialty with my clients, and I use it for a lot of other things with my clients,
Okay.
but it is emotional freedom's technique. And it is also called tapping. So some people will call it emotional acupuncture without the needles. And it's a really quick, real time technique that you can use in the moment. That if you're standing at Krispy Kreme counter, it might not work. No, I've had it work, but it might not. If you're on your way there, it could work. But if you're
Okay.
thinking about going to get donuts for the office or for the family or whatever, you can use it before you get there and be able to get the donuts home without opening the box in the front seat and eating a couple on the way. It takes away the craving, and not only the physical craving, but the emotional craving behind the food, so that you can literally walk away from it without having to think twice about it, without
Okay.
going through that regret sometimes. Well, or I didn't have that second piece of cake, but I really, really wanted it, and thinking about cake all night long. It takes all of that away.
Okay. Now, what did it stand for again?
Emotional freedom techniques is the original. So EFT or tapping, because you use your fingertips to tap on
Oh,
these
okay.
endpoints.
So that's like an NLP technique.
It's different
Okay.
in the
Okay.
same. So we're using meridian endpoints from acupuncture, if you're familiar with acupuncture, acupressure.
Okay.
Okay, so we're using meridian endpoints and we're tapping the scenario. So and you watch, it's a video download series, and it's like 3 minutes is the longest one. There's 5 videos. It's 30 seconds is the shortest one. So it's really easy to learn. And if we have the time, I'll be glad to show you how it works. It's going to feel a little out of content though, if it's not with, with food in front of you or thinking about something that's going on. But I'll be
Hey,
glad to show you.
I'm a single guy. I think of two things. One of them I'm not going to mention. The other one is food. So there you go.
There
so
you go.
so I'm thinking of food. So yeah, let's try. So
Right.
all right. So the fruit people that is joining us. Once again, I'm
Mhm.
talking with Vickie Griffith, and you can go to crushyourcravings.com or vickiegriffith.com and find out more about the Crush Your Cravings in 30 seconds and find out more about Vickie. Right now, we're talking about EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, and we're going to go through. Vickie's going to guide me through a couple of techniques. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best pupil in the world, so don't yell at me. All right, I got yelled
Okay.
at by enough teachers in my lifetime. I don't need another one now. So,
No rulers on the knuckles for you
okay,
then. All right.
okay,
So you said you're thinking about food, and
yes,
most of us who struggle with food and emotional eating, we're constantly thinking about food. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I just want to put that into your minds as well, because a lot of people, especially people who are overweight, kind of fret a little bit about how much they think about food. I think, well, you're just normal. That's pretty normal.
okay,
So you think about food, and you might have a particular food that you crave. So think about that. And 0 to 10, what's the level of intensity for the craving? 10 is it's really, really, really high. And 0 is you have none right now. So, and that could be because it's the food that you're thinking about. Maybe there's no craving for it. Or it could be that you just ate and you're not hungry anymore. So for me though, if I think of brownies with
okay.
chocolate chips in them and walnuts, I'm at a 15, maybe 25. Just saying,
Okay.
okay? But I'm asking you to rate 0 to 10.
Okay. All
All
right.
right. All right. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to kind of play Simon Says with me, but without repeating the word Simon Says.
Okay.
However, I'm going to ask you to repeat what I say.
Okay.
All right. And it's going to look really, really silly. I absolutely agree with you. This is one of the silliest techniques I ever came across. I was learning this with the founder in a room with 300 people. And the first day, the wait staff was all in the back making fun of us. By the end of the conference, they were standing in the back of the room doing the techniques with us because they were getting results. Yeah, it was pretty phenomenal.
Okay.
So I happen to be right hand dominant, so I use my right hand to tap.
Okay. Okay.
You're going to use at least the first 2 fingers. And you're going to start tapping on what's called the karate chop, which is right here.
Okay.
Your knuckle and your wrist. And repeat after me, even though I really love brownies with chocolate chips and frosting and walnuts. Whatever your food,
a big plate of spaghetti.
Big plate of spaghetti. I deeply and completely
love
and accept myself.
Say that again.
Love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
Even though I love spaghetti.
Even though I love spaghetti.
And I can't get enough of it.
I
even want some right now.
I
deeply and completely
love and accept myself.
Even though I can't believe I'm doing this in public.
Even though I can't believe I'm doing this in public.
I'm okay.
And
it's going to be okay. Then you go to your top of your head and say, spaghetti is amazing. And then right here at your eyebrow, beginning your eyebrow, bridge of your nose, I love spaghetti. Side of your eye, I don't want to live without spaghetti. Underneath your eye, on the bone, Vickie's not taking it away from me either. And underneath your nose, above your lip, this is really ridiculous. And then in the crease of your lip here, underneath your lip, and the crease above your chin, I can't believe I'm doing this in public. And then collarbone is either side. It doesn't matter. I always cross my body. And it's right there where the collarbone is, a little dip there underneath. Say, I am not going to live without spaghetti. And here's the silly one. You ready? It's underneath your arm. It's hard to see in this black. It's underneath your arm and say, I love spaghetti. I'm not giving it up. Now take a deep breath.
Okay.
And think about that big plate of spaghetti.
Okay.
And how warm it is. Is the number still the same as before?
No.
What happened to it? Is it
lowered? It lowered.
What? That was about 30 seconds. I have taught this to rooms full of people. I walked around with a trash can after one round. That was one round. And 75 to 80% of the people will throw their favorite food away that they brought in.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. Now, for some of us, like me, because I'm stubborn, it takes 2 or 3 rounds. Right? I'm just saying, I'm being honest. Because I really love brownies with walnuts and chocolate chips and frosting. However, don't give up. Keep doing it, and it will work for you. If it's not, here's why. You're not getting to the true essence of what the situation is. So why is the reason I want chocolate chip brownies, with walnuts and frosting? The other day, I was really frustrated with something I was doing for work. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I thought of is, I need chocolate. The second question to myself was, well, am I hungry? No. That's an emotional eating response. Okay. I use this technique, and I never even went into the food pantry where we have sugar-free chocolate in there. So I could have had chocolate if I wanted to. So what's going on? That's why it doesn't always work when you're doing it with yourself or by yourself. It does work a lot of times. Okay. Sometimes it's something from the past that emotional eating has become the habit. And so instead of being triggered by that again, or or working on that, the technique's not going to work because you haven't addressed that issue.
Okay.
Okay, you're only addressing the food issue. But most of us professional dieters want something to get through just right now. And this will help you get through right now while you're working on the other stuff.
Okay.
And here's what happens. This is just one of the techniques I have. I have many others. I have very strategic techniques as well. So in other words, we're going to be drinking water and we're going to be moving and we're going to, those type of things. But those come later, because for my clients who are emotional eaters, this needs to be worked on first. And we need to get to that place just like where I was at. Food nurtured me in some bizarre way that I knew logically it couldn't, but I couldn't get past that. And so I knew emotionally I had to take care of some things so I could get to the point where I could be nurtured with healthy food.
Interesting. So is this a technique that you came up with on your own?
No, this was actually put together by a gentleman named Gary Craig.
Okay.
And he studied with a psychologist that came up with this technique through studying acupressure, so studying Chinese medicine. And he had all these protocols. So if you're mad, you do it this way. If you're sad, you do it this way. If you're angry, you do it this way. So he had all these protocols. And his patients started healing so quickly through this type of therapy that he was almost bankrupt. And so he started, which is good news, right? Because it really works. So he started selling it to other psychologists and psychiatrists, and you had to be one of those to be in his classes. Somehow Gary Craig, as a insurance salesman, sold his way in and learned these techniques, and then that everybody needs to know about this, but I need to make it simple. And when I learned it 20 some years ago from him, it was a little bit longer, and as time went on, he shortened it because he realized he didn't need the repetition. So this is the technique that I've been using for the last 20 some years. I've helped clients not only with their food issues, but I was working with a client today around some things that happened in their childhood. And when you get a release from that, your whole world changes now. I've helped people through car accidents, and because of their guilt, became emotionally separated from their children. And not that they were physically living in the same house, but emotionally separated from his children because his children were in the car and he caused the accident. Nobody was hurt. But that guilt was causing that emotional separation. And his wife mentioned it. And so finally he sought me out, and we had to go through every aspect of the car accident where then he could finally get rid of the guilt and the shame that caused. And soon after that, he was reigniting emotionally with his children again, playing rather than being grumpy, taking them out places again. So yeah, it's a very fascinating, amazing technique. And I've been very fortunate, like I said, to.
So you don't just work with folks that are wanting to lose weight. You work with other folks as well, if I understand. Is that?
I do. I work with other folks as well. If anything, this is what I like to say. I work with people who have stinky BS, which is belief systems that are causing them to not be as successful as they'd like to be. That could be their family. That could be their work. Could be their business. Could be in sales. If you're not picking up the phone to make sales calls or connections like we did, you're not going to be successful in business. And some people can't do that. So I help people figure out what is it that is causing them to be in that place and help them move out of it with, like I said, practical, depending on what they're working on. If it's sales, then we're going to have them start making sales calls. If it's, if it's weight loss, then we're going to have them work on some of the mindset stuff as we're working on some of the other tactics to release the weight and make sure it stays off.
And all this stemmed from you wanting to lose weight, but you didn't want to go on a diet.
Yeah, all this comes down.
Wow, that is fantastic.
Yeah.
So now, Vickie, I know I only asked for 30 minutes of your time. Our time is about up. And the folks that are just tuning in now, I'm talking with Vickie Griffith. We talked about Crush Your Cravings in 30 seconds, and we went through a technique that will help you along the way and following it. Now, granted, it was very brief, But tell everybody, Vickie, where they can get in touch with you and what you offer. Why don't you go ahead and plug yourself here a little bit?
Absolutely. So if you want to learn more about me, you want to see the website, do a little research, you can Google me. You'll find me everywhere. But VickieGriffith.com is my website.
Mm-hmm.
And CrushCravings.com is the video download so that you can actually tap through the videos
Okay.
and learn the technique for yourself. And just by doing what we did here today, people have commented who have done that about how amazed they were that the craving went away. And here's what's fascinating. Not only did the craving go away when they went to test it, so let's say it was bread. They didn't have it in front of them. They got it done. They went and opened up the loaf of bread. There was no desire for it whatsoever.
Wow. That's fantastic.
I know.
That's fantastic. Cool. That is so cool. Now, folks, all the links that Vickie talked about, I have it posted in the comments or the show notes. Depends on what platform you're watching and or listening to this on. So it'll all be there. Vickie, I know if somebody wants to get a hold of you and they're listening to this or driving, I always tell people they can contact me and I can get a message to you. So that's not a problem there, folks. So so what kind of clientele? Who is your ideal client? Let me ask that. So your typical client, not ideal, typical client. So if somebody want to reach out to you, who would it be?
I work with professional people. So whether they're business owners, C-suite levels, or someone who's working full time. So professional people. And in the weight loss category, I work with mostly women, but I do have some men as clients as well.
Okay.
Who have been struggling with dieting their whole life, and I show them how to really lose weight without grueling food plans, without drop-dead workouts, without giving up chocolate.
Without giving up chocolate. There's your catch right there. Lose weight without giving up chocolate. There you go. That alone, half of my lady friends should be flocking to you right away because they always say, I got to give up chocolate. So there you go. So, Vickie, it's been a great time. This has been fun. I love this. This is great. It's been an honor. It's been fantastic. Once again, Vickie Griffith. You can go to crushcravings.com or VickieGriffith.com. And this is great. Do you have any parting words of wisdom to give to anybody listening out there?
Especially to my other professional dieters out there, don't give up on yourself. There is a way to release the weight and keep it off. And I know you can do it. So don't give up on yourself.
Fantastic. Vickie, thanks a lot for being the guest on Top Fitness Strategies. Top Fitness Strategies presents. And once again, go to crushcravings.com, check it out, and go to VickieGriffith.com and check it out and find out all the goodies that she has to offer and hit her up. And if you get over there, tell her that Andrew sent you over from Top Fitness Strategies, and we'll go from there. So once again, my guest, Vickie Griffith, thank you so much for being here. And we'll sign off now. So until next time, folks, this is Andrew and Vickie. I told you it's going to be different. Once again, Andrew and Vickie, thanks a lot. Until next time, ciao.